Ciao, welcome back to our course of Italian for Beginners. This is lesson 18, lezione 18. I have been away for a few days, not away, just away from the screen. So we're back here. So what we're trying to do is to build some vocabulary. Today we are going to talk about the possessives. The possessives is when we're talking about something which is ours. So when we say my something, your, his, her, our, your plural, and their something. Those are the possessives. So let's go immediately and look at our page where I have written all of them. As usual, we have plenty because in Italian, like many things, not everything, but like many things, also the possessives agree with gender and number. Gender meaning masculine and feminine, number meaning singular and plural. So in English, you only have 6 possessives. So if you follow the usual person, 3 persons singular, I, you, he, she, and 3 persons plural, we, you, plural, and they. In English, there is 1 each. In Italian, as I said, we have masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. So we're going to see all of them. You can notice already the, starting from here, the masculine singular, maschile singolare, ends in O, they all end in O. The femminile singolare, all end in A, more or less, yeah. Except the last one. Maschile plurale here end in I and femminile plurale end in E. So these are our usual 4 endings for masculine, feminine, singular, plural. So the very first difference that we have between English and Italian is the fact that, apart from the what I've just said, the fact that in Italian, in front of the possessive, we need the article. So the definite article, which I have written in front of each of these groups. So we have il, maschile singolare, in front of any of these. La, femminile singolare, in front of any of these. I, maschile plurale, in front of any of these. And le, femminile plurale, in front of any of these. So this is another difference. Something, in fact, that we're going to see gradually all the differences, in fact, between English and Italian. But let me read them for you first. I'm going to read all of them. Mio, tuo, suo, nostro, vostro, loro. The feminine singular, mia, tua, sua, nostra, vostra, loro. Maschile plurale, miei, tuoi, suoi, nostri, vostri, loro. Femminile plurale, mie, tue, sue, nostre, vostre, loro. So this basically, I'm just going to translate the first one because in English, basically all of them are translated exactly with the same words. So when in English you have 1, we have 4. For example, mio means my, mia means my, miei, just the same, and mie, exactly the same. So we have 4 for each possessive in English. Now, another thing that is important is that, unlike English, the possessive is it refers not to the person who owns something, but to what the person owns. Let me explain it. And the difficulty, let's say, or the little issue, it comes especially, not only, but especially when we're talking about the third person. So it takes a little bit more time probably to get used to this. So when I say that these are masculine singular, it means, in fact, it doesn't mean that a man uses this possessives. These ones which are feminine singular doesn't mean that a woman uses this, etc. So these are masculine singular because whoever owns, let's say, an object, whichever object, they are agreeing with the object. So if the object we own, let's say a book, libro, which is masculine, if we're talking about libro, all these are masculine because they are agreeing with libro, which is masculine. So we can say il mio, I'm going to write it here. Il mio libro, my book. If if we write libro in next to each of these, we have il tuo libro, your book. Il suo libro means his book or her book. You would see this from the context. So let me I'll repeat this last bit, and let me add all the, so we have il suo libro. So suo is masculine because libro is masculine. Singular because libro is singular. So this one, out of context, means his book, or can also mean her book. As I said, when this is in a context, then you know who you're talking about. So the same thing, exactly the same thing with all of them. Here we can have, let's choose the word macchina. Macchina is a car. So if we have la sua macchina, sua is feminine because macchina is feminine, singular. So also this one means his car or her car. We don't know, again, if it is out of context. However, in a sentence or in a context, then we would know who we are talking about. This is so exactly the same. Just to make things clear, so this is my, your, his, her, our, your, plural, and their. So the translation is exactly the same for the four groups, exactly the same. So so far, keep in mind, we need the definite article in front of the possessives, unlike in English, where you don't have an article. We have all the gender, two genders, and number, singular and plural. So we've got four for each that are in English as well. And then the possessives agree with what we own, let's say, not with the person who owns something. So it is the opposite of English. So now let's see a couple of things that will help learning these possessives. So as I said, we have the article in front of the possessives. So we can have here, for example, il mio amico, my friend. Literally, you're saying the my friend. However, remember, the definite article is the specific friend. So my friend lives in wherever. However, you can also have the indefinite article. You can have un, which is maschile singolare. So un mio amico means a friend of mine. So not a specific friend, but just a friend of mine lives or works wherever. So remember, in English, you can say a friend of mine, but you cannot translate this word order into Italian. It doesn't work. You need to say it exactly as it is here. Un mio amico. We can do the same thing, exactly the same thing with the feminine. Let me just move all the things, just keep moving around. So we can have, let me just write it down. So for the feminine, we can have la mia amica, my friend. In this case, is a female friend. Or you can say una mia amica, which is a friend of mine, but feminine, a female friend. And let's see the plural of this as well. So it's also an opportunity to see how do we say and pronounce the word friend or friends in Italian. So if we have many friends, we have I miei amici, my friends, male. So either they are all male, or remember, when we have a mixed group in Italian, it becomes masculine automatically. So I miei amici, you can think the first thought, masculine plural. However, keep in mind that in this group, we could also have females. So you would use the same. If instead you only have a group of female friends, then we say le mie amiche, my friends, or my girlfriends, as they would say. Probably I think they use this expression, this way of saying it in the US. Um, so far, now let's see something else, which is very specific of the possessives. Let me just tidy up in here. So something else when we are talking about the possessives is, oh no, I will leave this, is when we are talking about family members, but only singular, so a single family member, so we would use this one here at the top. We do not need an article before the possessive. So the rule is that we need an article before the possessives with everything, except when we're talking about the single member of family or a single family member. So, for example, and in fact, this is also an opportunity to learn some nouns, some new nouns, new vocabulary regarding the family. So let's see, we can have a brother, mio fratello. We can have a sister, mia sorella, my sister. Let's see, we can have father, your father, and you can have also tua madre, your mother. In fact, I will read them a little bit when we finished. We can have an uncle, perhaps, which is his or her uncle, remember. And then let's have an aunt as well. Oh, um, his or her aunt, remember. Let's have a grandfather. Nonno is the grandfather, and we could also have a grandmother. Nonna. Let's continue with this family member, which I'm going to write it first, and then we'll see. So why did I write exactly the same thing? So this vostro nipote, so vostro tells us that is a male, so it's a boy. And vostra nipote tells us that is a girl. The word for nipote means two different things. So it can be a grandchild, so a boy or a girl, or it can be a nephew or a niece. Again, normally you would see this or understand this from a context. And what else have we got left? Well, we'll go for a cousin, a male cousin, and we can also have a female cousin. So we said the rule is that in front of everything, in front of every possessive, normally we need an article. However, when we're talking about a single member of family, we do not use an article. The exception to this exception is that instead we do need an article only for loro, which is their. So il loro cugino and la loro cugina. So rule, always article, singular and plural. The exception is that we don't have an article when we're talking about a single member of family. The exception to this exception is that we do use the article just for the very last one, there. So this their cousin, a guy, a man, or their cousin, a woman or a girl. So these are the rules. You will get used to it, like everything. So let me read this so we can see the pronunciation. Mio fratello, tuo padre, suo zio, nostro nonno, vostro nipote, il loro cugino, mia sorella, tua madre, sua zia, nostra nonna, vostra nipote, la loro cugina. So this is a little bit of a family in here. So now one more thing. I know that now you have to think, as I said, you have to, at the beginning, as usual, you have to think how everything works, understand how everything works. So remember, mio is singular because fratello is singular. And also it is just one person talking here. And again, and exactly the same for the feminine. I'm just using the masculine here. Tuo is your, just one person. Your father, and is masculine because padre, the word for padre is masculine. Here, his or her, remember, singular masculine because the word for zio is an uncle, is masculine. Nostro is our. Yes, it is a group, but there is so it's singular because nonno is singular, masculine. Here, vostro, your as a group. Vostro nipote is your, could be grandchild, boy, or it could be your nephew, your plural again. And then il loro cugino, which is their cousin. That would be exactly the same for the feminine. I'll just, if we have the masculine here, we'll see some examples. I'm using the masculine, but it would be exactly the same thing for the feminine. You can't really have technically or biologically two fathers, so we're not going to use that. What can we have? I tuoi. What's it? Figli, we go for figli actually. I forgot the figli, which is the children. So figlio would be a child, a boy, and figlia is a daughter. Suoi, the plural is zii. So remember, zii is the plural of uncles, many uncles, or also uncle and aunt. Remember that it becomes masculine. We can have nonni, so the grandparents, or also grandfathers, if we're talking about two grandfathers. And then we have nipoti, which is grandchildren or nephews. And finally, we have cugini, which is cousins, all boys, or could also be a mixture of boys and girls. So let's see here. I miei fratelli, just one person talking about all my brothers. So this miei is plural because fratelli is plural, brothers. I tuoi figli, I'm talking to one person, your children. So plural masculine because figli, children, plural, obviously. And then, as I said, all boys, or it could be a mixed group, boys and girls. I suoi zii, suoi, his or her, plural because zii is uncles or uncle and aunt. They're plural, we're talking about more than one person. I nostri nonni is our grandparents. So grandparents, plural. So nostri is plural masculine because we are saying nonni, again, either two grandfathers or grandparents in general. Vostri, talking to a group or more than one person. Nipoti, masculine because we're talking about grandchildren or boys or mixed group, or nephews. So vostri plural masculine, agreeing with nipoti. And then I loro cugini, so loro, in fact, loro does not change, so it stays exactly the same here. And it is the only one that always has the article in front. So exactly, as I said, exactly the same thing with the feminine. In fact, we'll put the lane here because, as I said, the plural, the possessives always have the article in front. The singular possessives, they have the article in front always, except when we're talking about a single member of family. And the exception to that is that the very last one does keep the article. I think we have covered everything about these possessives. So I hope this was useful and clear. Please, if you find difficulties, do leave a comment, and I'll be very happy to add more information and answer your questions. And I am following a certain order in these lessons, obviously, because we are building gradually. However, feel free to ask for specific topics, which I will cover at whichever point makes sense. We are building, as I said, vocabulary, and in order to have fuller sentences, in order to be able to say a little bit more, an exercise that we are going to do together, but a little bit later on when we do have, I said, a bit more vocabulary, we can say more. So thank you very much for subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, and for your requests. And let me remind you also that I do private tuition. So if you're interested, please get in touch and we can find a suitable time. Doesn't matter wherever you are in the world, because we do have the online teaching. And by the way, do let me know where in the world you're learning and why you are learning. If this is the very first time that you're attempting to study a language or Italian language, or you have other experience with languages. This was lesson 18, lezione 18, and I will see you on our next lesson, which will be lesson 19, lezione 19. Bye, ciao.